The descendants of Adam and Eve usually remind us of the story of Cain and Abel, but we often forget other biblical passages that talk about their other sons and daughters. In this video, I'm going to focus in particular on Adam and Eve's daughters. Who were these daughters and how many were there? I'll explore their story using sources such as the Book of Jubilees, the Bible, and ancient traditions. If this topic caught your attention, enjoy the video and leave a comment. Come with me to find out more about the not-so-well-known story of Adam and Eve's daughters, a subject often overlooked by scholars and those curious about the Holy Scriptures, which is well worth learning about. The mystery surrounding the daughters of Adam and Eve is often overlooked. Usually, people read the Bible and focus on Adam and Eve's best-known sons, Cain, the eldest, and Abel, the second. However, they often forget that Adam and Eve had many daughters, as revealed in Genesis chapter 5, verses 4 and 5. The text mentions that after the birth of Seth, Adam lived for 800 years, during which he had sons and daughters, totaling 930 years of life until his death. The Bible doesn't give us the names of Adam and Eve's daughters, but there are other texts from ancient Jewish traditions that specify some of them. Based on the Book of Jubilees, I will mention the names of some of Adam and Eve's daughters according to these traditions, offering more information about these less explored figures in the Bible. Now, back to Adam and Eve. According to various ancient traditions, their first daughter was called Aven. Aven, in Phoenician Hebrew, means power or vice. She was the wife and sister of Cain, also Adam and Eve's son. According to the Book of Jubilees, she had children with Cain, one of whom was called Enoch. The building of a city called Enoch, in honor of his son, is mentioned in the Bible as one of Cain's achievements after being banished for murdering Abel. Now, as for Adam and Eve's second daughter, according to various ancient Semitic traditions, she was called Asherah. Asherah was the wife of Seth, the third son of Adam and Eve, born after the death of Abel. The name Seth has etymological roots in Hebrew and is related to the idea of compensation or substitution. This is because, after the murder of Abel by Cain, Seth was seen by Adam and Eve as divine compensation for the loss of Abel. He is seen as a righteous and pious descendant, and his lineage, according to the biblical narrative, was crucial for the continuity of the worship of God. Now, according to the Book of Jubilees, Asherah was initially Abel's wife and was widowed after his death. When Seth reached maturity, he married Asherah, and from this union the line of Seth was born. The Book of Jubilees tells us that Asherah was born in the 6th week of the 4th Jubilee and married Seth in the 5th week of the 5th Jubilee. In the 4th year of the 6th week, she gave birth to a son called Enos. Enos was later married in the 3rd week of the 7th Jubilee to Nomah, his sister, and also the daughter of Seth and Asherah. Enos is known for his pious descendants and devotion to the worship of God. The main reference to Enos in the Bible is in Genesis 5 verses 6 to 11, which describes his genealogy. This passage suggests that Enos played an important role in promoting worship and devotion to God in his time, marking a period of spiritual searching among the descendants of Seth. Then, according to the ancient Book of Jubilees and Semitic traditions, Cain married his sister Aven and gave birth to the line of Cain. Seth, on the other hand, married his sister Asherah and gave rise to the line of Seth. Now, you may be wondering how many sons and daughters Adam and Eve had. The biblical text indicates that they had many, especially considering Adam's longevity. In fact, they were the most fertile humans of their time. Eve, as the first woman, was extremely fertile, and Adam was also very fertile. According to modern Guinness World Records, the woman with the most children in history, as far as we know, was Valentina Vassiliev. She supposedly died at the age of 76, leaving 69 surviving children, with only 2 dying young. Valentina went through 27 pregnancies, resulting in 16 sets of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets. Although there are other reports of women with 50 or even 60 children, Valentina remains the recognized record holder. However, what I want to emphasize is that Eve surpassed all these women in fertility, being considered the most fertile woman in human history. If a woman today were able to give birth to around 69 children, we can only imagine what Eve achieved, since she lived much longer, reaching the impressive age of 900, according to the biblical narrative. In addition, according to tradition, Adam and Eve had numerous children, estimated at around 70 or even more. Considering their robust health and the favorable time for procreation, it is possible that they had hundreds of sons and daughters. In the book of Genesis 6 verse 1, it is mentioned that as Adam's descendants multiplied on earth, many beautiful daughters were born. A lesser-mentioned curiosity is that both the sons and daughters of Adam and Eve had their own ethnic descent, contributing to the ethnic diversity of humanity. Let's explore this fascinating point about mitochondrial genetics, known as mitochondrial Eve, in more depth. This area of study offers a unique perspective on the origin of humanity, connecting us to a common ancestor, regardless of the ethnic and racial differences we observe today. Mitochondria are structures and cells that play a crucial role in energy production. Mitochondrial DNA is inherited exclusively through the maternal line, i.e., it is passed on from mother to sons and daughters. This uniparental inheritance trait allows scientists to trace and study genetic history over the generations, focusing specifically on the maternal line. Mitochondrial Eve, in genetic terms, represents the hypothetical woman from whom all current women share a common ancestor in their maternal line. She is a symbolic figure who does not correspond to a single person, but rather to a population of ancient women whose mitochondrial genes persist to this day. Genetic studies show that, when analyzing the mitochondrial DNA of different populations around the world, we find patterns and similarities that point to a common ancestor. This mitochondrial Eve is conjectured to be the one whose mitochondrial genes were passed on, uninterrupted, over thousands of years. What is fascinating is that this common ancestor does not represent a single geographical origin, but rather a connection shared by all of us, regardless of our current ethnic or racial background. This discovery highlights the unity underlying the diversity we see in our modern societies. By considering mitochondrial Eve, we realize that, ultimately, we are all part of a great web of kinship, linked through this maternal genetic inheritance. This ancestral connection transcends borders and differences, underlining the common essence we all share as human beings. This genetic narrative reinforces the idea that, despite superficial appearances of ethnic and racial diversity, we all share a common history. We are all descendants of the same maternal lineage, connected through time and generations. Therefore, by contemplating mitochondrial Eve, we are invited to appreciate the richness of the diversity that exists in our world, while recognizing the deep connection that unites each one of us. This broader understanding of our genetic heritage contributes to a deeper appreciation of our shared humanity, promoting mutual respect and understanding amidst the variety of experiences and cultures that enrich our planet. Did you know the story of Adam and Eve's daughters? Leave your comments and suggestions for new themes or biblical characters you'd like to see in a video. Thank you very much for following me here. See you soon.